The Outrun, 2024, follows Rona, a young woman on a journey back to her childhood home in the Orkney Islands, a remote and rugged area of Scotland. After grappling with alcoholism for years in London, Rona is compelled to confront her past, her family, and herself in her quest for sobriety. The film intricately weaves together realism, mythology, and environmental elements, crafting a personal portrayal of a woman torn between her self-destructive tendencies and a yearning for redemption. Opening scene, the myth of the Selkies. The film begins with Rona narrating a local Orkney legend about Selkies, magical creatures that can change from seals to humans but are trapped on land if spotted by human eyes. This legend serves as a powerful metaphor for Rona's struggle, symbolizing her internal conflict between the alluring freedom of addiction and the unyielding reality of sobriety. A drunken night in London. The narrative shifts to London, presenting Rona in a state of intoxication at a bar. Her chaotic behavior draws the attention of the bartender and other patrons who attempt to intervene. Rona resists help and ultimately stumbles out into the chaotic night filled with loud music and flashing lights, an environment that highlights her disorientation and loss. The scene culminates in her acceptance of a ride home from a mysterious man whose intentions appear sinister, leaving the viewers in suspense regarding the outcome. Checking into rehab. The next scene depicts Rona at a rehabilitation clinic filling out a medical questionnaire across from a doctor. At 29 years old and unemployed despite holding a master's degree in biology, her situation reflects lost potential. She hesitates when asked about mental illness in her family, suggesting unresolved issues that haunt her. Through montage sequences we observe her trying various therapies and rehab programs but remaining emotionally detached. Ultimately, Rona decides to return to Orkney, seeking to escape her destructive habits in the city. Returning home. Upon arriving at her childhood house in Orkney, Rona encounters her mother and sister. Their reunion is fraught with tension as they grapple with welcoming her back while harboring doubts about her ability to stay sober. The dynamics of their relationship illustrate the challenges Rona faces as she strives to rebuild her life among those from whom she has been estranged. The environment of Orkney contrasts sharply with London, emphasizing her emotional and physical journey towards recovery and self-acceptance. In this blend of family drama and personal struggle, Rona seeks not just sobriety but a path to redemption and understanding. Rona's journey is marked by complex relationships, inner turmoil, and a battle against her addiction. Her mother, deeply religious, offers to pray for her, showing a desire for support but also signaling a potential lack of understanding of Rona's struggles. Meanwhile, her sister's practical but distant attitude casts doubt on whether Rona is genuinely ready to change, adding to her feelings of isolation. The rugged landscapes of Orkney, while familiar and comforting, also feel suffocating to Rona. This tension mirrors her inner conflict as she begins to work on the family farm. Engaging with sheep and fences, she seeks to reconnect with the land that holds both pain and love intertwined. In a series of flashbacks, Rona's relationship with her father is revealed. Her childhood perception of him as a dominant figure who could control the wind becomes tainted as she witnesses the devastating effects of his bipolar disorder. His manic episodes and the subsequent dysfunction within the family cast a long shadow over her memories. The family farm transitions into a representation of both sanctuary and prison, laden with memories of trauma and affection. As Rona explores the island, local Orkney myths come to the forefront, with tales of giant sea monsters and spirits haunting the cliffs serving as metaphors for mental illness. These myths symbolize the uncontrollable forces within her, reminiscent of her ongoing struggles. Disturbing nightly tremors believed to be caused by a sleeping monster beneath Orkney echo her internal battles, leaving her to contemplate if her addiction is a beast she can conquer or a relentless adversary. Rona's attempt to reconnect with Danon, an old friend, brings fresh complications. Their shared bond is overshadowed by the reality that he has moved on, dating someone new and leading a stable life. Rona's longing for connection juxtaposes painfully with her struggle to trust, exacerbated by her erratic behavior and past addictions. Despite her efforts to prove her sobriety, her actions push Danon further away. In a moment of weakness, Rona succumbs to the temptation of drinking during a local party, shattering her sobriety in a downward spiral. The aftermath reveals the consequences of her actions. The next morning brings physical bruises and a foggy memory of the prior night, amplifying her feelings of disconnection and despair as she fully alienates Danon. The climax of Rona's downward arc occurs when, in a vulnerable state after drinking, she accepts a ride from a stranger. This harrowing moment signifies her rock bottom, marking a critical turning point in her struggle for recovery amidst a chaotic life shaped by contradictions and unresolved trauma. The narrative begins with a stark and harrowing moment where Rona is violently attacked in a car, forcing her to flee barefoot into the cold night. This visceral scene encapsulates her profound sense of helplessness and trauma, marking a nadir not just in her struggle with addiction but in her entire existence. Following the assault, Rona makes a decisive commitment to recovery, choosing to re-enter rehab and start attending Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. She attempts to mend her relationship with Danon, offering an apology, but discovers he has moved on, unable to restore his trust in her. This experience serves as a wake-up call for Rona, prompting her to reconnect with her family, particularly her mother and sister, as she gradually rebuilds those relationships. Through her recovery process, Rona finds comfort and strength in nature, immersing herself in the study of Orkney's rich wildlife and the ocean. Her newfound fascination with seaweed farming emerges as a poignant symbol of renewal, representing the capacity to grow and find stability amidst chaos. Choosing to stay in Orkney instead of returning to London marks a significant shift in Rona's life. She embarks on a journey of environmental research and conservation, integrating herself into a small close-knit community in a remote village. This environment prompts her to rekindle her childhood passion for nature, revealing that Orkney rather than the bustling city is where she truly belongs. The film culminates in a powerful final scene that encapsulates Rona's transformation. Standing on rugged cliffs, she gazes at the turbulent ocean, a realm filled with both beauty and danger. In a defining moment of bravery, she plunges into the icy waters, symbolically embracing the duality of her experiences. As she floats on the waves, the film cuts to black, leaving audiences with an open-ended yet hopeful conclusion. Throughout the film, themes of addiction and recovery are explored, illustrating alcoholism as a lifelong battle that requires ongoing effort, with progress being non-linear. Rona's struggle intertwines with her family trauma and her father's legacy, creating an intricate narrative of mental health. The Orkney landscape serves as both a harsh adversary and a site of renewal, while elements of Orkneyan folklore influence Rona's self-discovery and connection to her surroundings. Underlying the story are symbols of hidden forces represented by low tremors heard beneath Orkney, echoing themes of addiction, representing the invisible struggles that persist below the surface of her life. This portrayal conveys a message of resilience, hope, and the complexities of healing. Self-destruction as a storm. At her lowest point, Rona succumbs to her struggles with alcohol, resulting in erratic and dangerous behaviors that lead to self-inflicted harm. The stormy weather that often accompanies these moments serves as a reflection of her internal chaos, externalizing the turmoil that she is experiencing within herself. Breaking the cycle, ultimately Rona makes a conscious choice to live differently. Instead of engaging in a futile battle against the tides of addiction, she learns to accept and flow with them. This acceptance brings her to the realization that recovery is not a destination but rather a continuous process that requires compassion towards oneself. The caravan as a metaphor for exile. Rona's father plays a significant role in her life narrative. He chooses to sell the family home while still living on the farm in a caravan, revealing his deep-seated refusal to let go of the past. The caravan serves several symbolic purposes. It signifies isolation, with her father physically distancing himself from the family. It also represents the fragility of stability, illustrating how a caravan, unlike a permanent home, mirrors his unstable mental state. Furthermore, it reflects Rona's fears about her own future, that she may end up trapped in a temporary and unstable existence if she does not take action to change the course of her life. Rona's breakdown and hallucinations. During her darkest moments, Rona experiences vivid hallucinations and paranoia which echo her father's past struggles. This connection highlights the interplay between mental illness and addiction, emphasizing that her fight is rooted in both biological predispositions and the conscious exertion of willpower. The power of nature as a healing force. In stark contrast to the fast-paced and artificial atmosphere of London, Orkney offers Rona stillness, solitude, and a profound connection to the natural world. The role of the sea. The ocean embodies both a threat and a sanctuary for Rona. It symbolizes the dual themes of destruction and renewal. In a significant climactic moment, Rona swims in the icy waters, which acts as a form of purification and a surrender to the greater forces of nature. Seaweed and environmental rebirth. Rona's newfound passion for seaweed farming, a sustainable practice that contributes to ecosystem restoration, serves as a metaphor for her own healing journey. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.